think people's dreams die earlier than we think. We ask kids what they want to be when they grow up. And back when I was a kid, it was, president, NBA player, whatever I was playing at the time, Cowboys and Indians, who knows? Now, kids want to be entrepreneurs. They want to be YouTubers. They want to be influencers. But I remember when I was a kid, dreaming big, but also having a cap to those dreams based on my current circumstances. And it only got worse. And I'll tell you what I mean. I remember playing Monopoly with my grandma. I would go over to her house. I must have been 8, 9, or 10. And the goal was to bake cookies. We used to make amazing cookies, chocolate chip. The secret was cloves. We put a little bit of cloves in there. And I loved making cookies with my grandma. Well, while we were waiting for the cookies to rise and they were in the oven, what we would do is we would play Monopoly. And I'm reminded of this because I play Monopoly Deal with my kids. And if you haven't heard of Monopoly Deal, it's phenomenal. It's a card game. You can teach your 5-year-old how to play, and you can play one-on-one and within 15 minutes. It's one of our favorite games to play. It's basically the card version of Monopoly. So I've been thinking about this a lot more. And I was thinking about Boardwalk and Park Place because those were the most expensive properties on the board. I remember when I was a kid and I would land on Boardwalk or Park Place early on in the game. And I would look at my cash and I would look at my model of how I wanted to play the game. And I would almost always pass on Boardwalk. It was too expensive, too risky. I stuck in the safe zones like Marvin Gardens and Baltic Avenue. And I vividly remember thinking, that's not a property I will ever be able to afford in real life. So why would I pretend? I remember thinking this. I remember playing the game as if what is realistic. I did that with everything. I didn't like movies that weren't realistic. I liked really dreaming, but within boundaries of reality. And the reason I didn't think Boardwalk was part of the game for me was because of my own economic status. I didn't think I'd ever be able to afford it. And so I shied away from it. And I only thought realistically. And so my dreaming started getting smaller and smaller based on my limited beliefs around my limited status at the time. And I think that's really interesting. I don't think it's good. I think it's the silent killer of dreams is our current circumstances and how that applies to what is possible. And so I'm really proud of my kids who aren't doing that, because what I should have realized is that Boardwalk is just a tool. Money is just a tool. It's not the end game. It's what you can do with it. And so this is a real estate podcast. We talk all the time about real estate investing. We talk all the time about getting the job done. But what are we doing for? What are we doing it for? What's your relationship with money? I'll tell you that early on, I didn't have a good relationship with money because we didn't have a lot of it. And when we did get it, we spent it. And so when I did start making more money, I had bad money habits and I started spending more and more. And I never actually invested or built wealth early on. And if you aren't someone who is constantly looking at how can we actually get out of this? How can we break out of the mold? Because generational wealth is rare. Teaching kids and having them start into the world with good money habits is rare. Most of the kids that graduate from college have $50,000 to $100,000 in debt. But we're telling our kids to go to college, even if they don't have a plan past that. You'll figure it out when you're in college. Well, I'll tell you right now, that's a good recipe for 5 years of school and a $100,000 bill at the end with no direction. Now, I'm not advocating for or against college in this podcast. What I am saying is that I would be doing everything possible to look at how to make money work for you versus the other way around. And as a kid, that's a hard message to grasp. You're actually soaking up messages that no one meant to teach you. So even in a make-believe world where paper money ruled the streets, I was still playing small. I was budgeting imaginary rent like I had bills to pay. I was 8. So you fast forward to today, I play with Monopoly with my kids, and I see Boardwalk a little differently now. It's a space on the board. It's a tool. It's a chance to build something meaningful. Is that within the cards for me? Sure. It's an investment. It's not the end game. It's a vehicle for creating a life where I can spend more time and more money and more focus on stuff that really matters, like family or cookies. It's funny how you view your opportunity, your view of opportunity changes when your view of yourself does. So at some point, that little boy learned how to dream a little bit bigger. He learned that Boardwalk doesn't belong to someone else's life. It's on the table. And I'm grateful for that, because now when I see my kids and the way they see Boardwalk, they don't flinch. They see it as a tool, and they charge daddy rent. No questions asked. So if you're still passing up on Boardwalk because it feels like too much, or it's too soon, or too far out of reach, maybe it's time to change how you play. The cookies will rise either way. Might as well buy the property.